Good afternoon, and what is a warm, bright and blustery day. It is Thursday the 20th of April. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to continue unboxing. It's very heavy. I've already unboxed a few things from here, which include filling in the blanks, a guide to populating hex crawls, the Mega Dungeon Monster Manual, which is a guide to all of the monsters from Greg Gillespie's series of Mega Dungeons, Darrow Deep and Barrow Maze. Into the Wild, a high-level resource for OSR games on basically creating, building, managing wilderness hexes. Darrow Deep, classic fantasy Mega Dungeon. This is one of the ones that the Mega Dungeon Monster Manual draws from. And then next we have How to Write Adventure Modules That Don't Suck. That's from Goodman Games. Next, okay, we have 6 Seasons in Sartar. I've already done an unboxing of that, so you don't need to see that. Below that, there is a copy of Mouse Ritter. Yeah, okay, done an unboxing of that, and I love it. But next, yeah, a lot of delving here, going quite deep into this box. We have Petty Gods, a fantasy gaming adventure supplement, revised and expanded, a compendium of weird and unusual minor godlings, and its old school role-playing community content. Expanded Petty Gods and Compendium provides old school referees with a slew of new, weird, minor deities and godlings for use in rounding up their campaigns. This book includes information on 327 petty gods, 116 minions, knights and servitors, 12 cults, dozens of divine items and new spells, plus a host of other petty god-related gaming materials. If you need a petty god in your game, I bet this is going to be your best bet. So, this is edited by Richard J. LeBlanc Jr. with Matthew W. Schmier and Greg Gorgonmilk. And it's let's see what it's published by. It says a special reference work. Okay, I'm just going to move this out from under my arm. And okay, so next we have Inexorable Dead, a piece of poetry there. By Edgar Lee Masters, a prologue reflecting on Unknown Gods by Janelle Jacques, designer of perhaps one of the best non-TSR dungeons, Dark Tower, which is coming very soon from Goodman Games. We've got the introduction and the different sections. Table of contents page. List of contributors, and the foreword, and that's by James M. Ward. Before we go on to basic preface and acknowledgements and a discussion of what is a god. We've also got notes on using petty gods in play. Desperately trying to say not pretty gods, because that's an entirely different thing. And we have the subtle art of appropriation, essentially propagating your god, growing its faith, and a guide to godly reaction. So this is sort of like talking about the nature of gods, how their faith spreads, and so on, before we actually get to the first section of petty gods. All these rather nice artwork. And we have a petty gods overview with an explanation of special notes of their stats and so on before we get into the gods themselves. So we start off with Abundiance, a petty god of ephemeral wealth, and then we have Adasek, petty god of stars or stairs and ladders. I love the fact that the god of stairs and ladders has lots of tiny little feet and turn over the page, you know, we have Aglos, the petty god of torches and official light. Aglet, petty god of frayed ropes, cords and strings. Now that's really kind of clever, because an aglet, if you're wondering, an aglet is that bit of plastic or twine or at the end of your shoelace which binds the end together and makes it secure. So yes, petty god of frayed ropes, cords and strings is very appropriate. I do like that, that's very clever. Amber bloodsword, petty goddess of battle, bloodlust and feminine protection, and so on. So lots of gods, you know, more gods than you can possibly sniff at or worship, just flipping through. So we have petty god of blood, power and strength, Offerton, or petty god of finances, investments and profits, Urabora, petty god of clouds. So there's going to be a petty god for almost anything in here. I'm just flipping through. No, quantum ogre, petty god of whimsy and vagary. So I'm just going to flip through. You know, there are so many different gods I could just show you. Video, petty god of charlatans and overpromisers. Yes, we know a few of those, don't we? But then again, this is a politics-free YouTube channel. So we get all the way down to Yatlhoy, which is a complete is a pantheon. And then Yessir, 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 petty god of the third, orders obeyed. So I have a bit of humour there. So the last god in here is Zodraz. We've got petty god of seeds and toil, which reminds me of you know, if you've ever seen the film Zardoz, utterly weird post-apocalyptic role-playing game. And the last god in here is this is a traditional petty god of irrational fears. And then we've got to go on to section 2, minions, knights and servitors. So minion overview, just the same thing, and these are all the minions, sort of like the petty gods and so on. So yeah, you know, so we've got lots of angelic servitors. Yeah, lots and lots of those. You know, we've got an arbitrator of a sphere, serves anyone. And then, you know, boggling serves petty gods of bogs and swamps. The bogfather, boggling, bog standard bogman. Then we've got the boggling, hanged bogman. So they're theming the servitors as well. We have the Dud, serves petty god of malfunction and faulty ideas. In some ways it's kind of disappointing that these aren't quite tied up, these aren't quite closely tied with the gods. You don't have the sort of the petty gods and all their servitors together. That would be kind of useful, I think. We even have some mythos gods in here. So we have formless spawn. So yes, that serves the Sogua. We even have a giant space baby, as opposed to a giant space hamster. And then we have a Jeez Louise, who serves Odalid, but Odalid wants nothing to do with her. Yeah, weird. But this is all weird and odd and so on. We have Mouthless Tongue, serves Tonya, petty goddess of children's teeth. Yeah, so many. So yeah, just flipping through, so many in here. We have Pies 2000, serves evolved machine intelligences. So lots and lots of servitors and so on. Things like Twizzwingle Fizz. I fancy eating one of those. All the way down to where are we? Almost there. Ynim, treasure gods, and then we have the cults and cultists. So the cult of Obsidian Mirror. These are quite lengthy. Cult of the White Shadow, so you can bring these into play, you know, as broader threats. You know, essentially the human face, or you know, the corporeal face of a god. Delves of the gold vines. The Way of the Shroom. It's great if you've got like a mushroom man in your campaign. Then we have divine items like the flying ship, of course, which shrinks down. So we've got an introduction and how to handle the divine items in your campaign. We have things like the Barondel's Hat of Dumb Luck. You know, fully, you know, lots of bells and whistles on the hat. But anyone wearing the hats makes a duplicate roll for every required die roll and uses the better result. If both results share the same, though, the outcome will be to the detriment of the wearer. Interesting. So yeah, a bowl of ice. That's not creepy. So lots of different items. You know, and then we get on to spells. Oh yes, sorry. We have a couple of items at the end. So we have the one, and also which, you know. Anyway, moving on to spells. So we've got the full list of spells there. So I've got interesting things. So we have things like, let's have a look. Fray. By placing a hand lightly on any cord, string or rope, and muttering an invocation to Aglet, the god of frayed ropes and so on, the effect item will begin to unroll. It takes a full turn for rope to completely come apart, but it may drop any items supporting within 1d4 rounds. Yeah, that's nicely thematic. So lots of different spells, all tied into the different petty gods and so on. We have appendices and indices, and I think this is going to be very useful because you've got all the different sections. They're all kind of like, here's, you know, here are the petty gods, here are their cultists and cults, here are their servitors. This will begin to put it together, I hope. So we have create a religion in your spare time for fun and profit. That's written by M.A.R. Barker. I didn't expect to see that in there. But that's quite a lengthy piece, several pages long, and it's quite text dense in comparison to the rest of the book. Then we have Gods of Barsoom by Michael Curtis. Legends of Law of the Jail God. So we've got petty foods of the petty gods. So, you know, you could have divine foods, including a petty foods of the petty gods, including a $6 buffet. So lots of different things, and then we have the petty classifieds, essentially adventure hooks. Inspirational source material, alphabetical listings of the gods with domains, alignments, affiliations, and so on. And there are a number of Cthulhu gods in here, so Bugrug, Chugnoga, Fan, and so on. You know, so you do have that classification in there for easy reference. And then alphabetical index of all the writers and their essentially their entries in the book. So from the old-fashioned role-playing community, Petty Gods, and it's a really nice supplement if you're looking to add interesting divine angles to your gaming and your fantasy world. You have everything at your fingertips in this volume. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing the Nook. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.